What's up, everyone? Welcome back to The Real Breakdown. I'm very excited for today's review. Today we're going to do a non-spoiler review on Crazy Rich Asians, a movie that really surprised me, so we're going to do that right now. So today we're going to talk about Crazy Rich Asians, a movie that I'm not going to lie, guys. The first thing I thought about was, isn't that kind of a racist title? You know, Crazy Rich Asians? I don't know how I felt about that. But I watched the trailer and I was immediately intrigued by the story of the film. The good thing, though, was that I only watched that trailer once, because I actually watched the trailer again to prepare for this review. And guys, let me tell you, as much as I want you to watch the trailer so you can go see this movie, the trailer gives away way too much. So my recommendation is actually for you not to watch the trailer, because it's gonna spoil the movie. There are so many huge scenes that they reveal in there that are actually a big deal in the movie. There's so many dead giveaways that it's like, guys, I actually kind of recommend you not to see the trailer. This film actually really surprised me. I'm not sure what I was really expecting, but what I got, I was very happy with. Especially because this film is directed by John M. Chu, which I thought, John M. Chu, the guy who directed Gem and the Holograms, G.I. Joe Retaliation, and the Step Up movies, which I personally like, but at the end of the film, when you see directed by John M. Chu, I'm like, what? Really? That's no disrespect to John M. Chu. I'm not saying he makes garbage. I'm just saying I didn't expect for him to be the one behind this movie. Getting into my initial reactions walking out of the theater, I was very elated. It's one of those films that you walk out feeling great. You walk out feeling happy. You walk out feeling hopeful. You walk out feeling like you just had a great time at the movies. Because guys, some of the great things about this film are that it's funny. It's heartfelt, it's modern, it's got everything that you would need in a film. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll have a good time. There are great characters in it, there's a great story. I was thoroughly impressed, guys, and it's a film that I've actually seen twice. And even though the second time I actually had a bad experience watching it in a movie theater where they had technical difficulties and all this was going on, didn't matter. I still walked out having a great time. And it's a movie that I think shocked a lot of people. I'll tell you right now, both of the showings that I went to, the theater was packed. And as of the filming of this, it's been out for about 2 weeks now. It's already made $86 million at the box office, and the budget for this movie was $30 million. So there you see that it's already made its budget back, and it's actually a success, and I'm happy for it. The thing with this movie is that Crazy Rich Asians is one of those films that comes every 10 years or so that is just really great. It's a bit of a rom-com. I don't know really what to compare it to, because I myself haven't watched a lot of rom-coms, but you know, I've heard people compare it to, you know, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, because, you know, that focused on a particular culture, and as this focuses on more of the Asian culture, which, guys, that in itself I thought was awesome. I loved how they highlighted what some might consider stereotypes, or what isn't a stereotype of Chinese. They made it playful, guys. It didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like it was, you know, too on the nose. It didn't feel like it came off in a bad way. Like, do they joke about some Asian stereotypes? Yes, but it's in a good way. It doesn't come off as like, oh God, really? You did that? So that's a huge plus, because like I said, I thought the name was kind of racist. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, yo, that's kind of a weird name. Even people that I talked to about it, they're like, yeah, Crazy Rich Asians, I don't know if I want to go see that. And I'm like, guys, trust me, you're gonna like it. So yeah, it's one of those movies that the name is kind of deceiving, but the story is actually great. There are just great characters. The main character is named Rachel. There's also the character named Nick. So I'm just gonna give you a quick synopsis. Basically, Rachel is this young, smart college professor, and she's dating this guy named Nick Young, and essentially, you know, they have a great relationship. He wants to take her out to Asia, to Singapore, to go to his best friend's wedding where he's the best man and meet his family. They go out to Asia, and then she realizes that, oh my gosh, my boyfriend is extremely rich and his family comes from a very wealthy and powerful family. And, you know, it's how she navigates those waters and how the family treats her, and all those things. So it's a story that we've heard before. But guys, I think that the really interesting part of it was that they really threw in the Asian culture in there, and they really highlighted some amazing things about it. You know, not just Singapore and how amazing and beautiful that place is. I mean, I'll tell you what, Singapore is now on my list of places to visit. But also just how cultural, and how the difference between traditional and modern. You know, what do you go for? Are you more, do you follow tradition? Do you follow what your family is used to doing? Or do you do more of your own modern take on life, and decide to make your own decisions. Those are the kinds of things that this movie tackles, and that's actually one of the things that I really, really enjoyed about it. And it's a huge part of the story. On top of that, you also have great characters in Rachel, Nick, and even Nick's family. I think that as great as Rachel is and as great as Nick is, and man, they are great. They just have some really beautiful, beautiful emotional scenes that it's very believable. That's another thing, guys. This movie is extremely believable. I believe their acting. I believe what they're going through, and I think all the actors did great. But I do want to highlight Nick's family, which is like the posh, like rich and snobby family. I think that each character, each cousin, each sibling, or each, character in the family was really well thought out, really well played. There's a few side stories that have to do with some of the relatives of Nick, and I think they played those out great. I thought that they were great add-ons that didn't really detract from the main story. If anything, it added on to it. So I think what the writers of this film did a great job of highlighting the characters and really letting us fall in love with them and despise a few others. I thought that was one of the movie's greatest strengths, was its story and its characters. They were well fleshed out, and it really got the audience involved with the characters. In both screenings, there was a lot of reactions to what was going on. That's why I'm telling you, don't watch the trailer, because some of those scenes are like, oh my god, these are big moments, and they just like put them out there like it's nothing. And this movie just hits the right beats at the right time. There is such a great balance of the comedy and the emotional and the storytelling and the seriousness that it's a great blend, while also mixing in a few other angles. Also, the way that they did the music, or the score, the soundtrack, was very interesting, because what they did was they threw in very famous American songs, but they were covered in an Asian language, which I thought was very interesting and creative, because you would hear a song, and you're like, okay, it's in a different language, it must be a popular song. Wait a minute, I recognize that beat. Oh my god, is this a song by the Beatles? Is this a song by Coldplay? And the music just fit in perfectly, I think. I really, really enjoyed that. I thought that was a very creative thing that they did, and so I applaud them for that. As far as the characters, I already mentioned a few of them, but man, the standout for me was definitely Awkwafina. I know that's a weird name, but I believe she's a rapper, but she's also been in a few films. She was just in the Ocean's 8 film, where I didn't think she did that great, but in this movie, she's a standout. She's great, and I think that her role was definitely needed in this film. Some people might think that that role was a bit too much, it was overdone, but I think it was just enough, and it's exactly what the movie needed. As I said before, that nice balance. Sometimes you really needed some of the craziness up here to really balance out the emotional and realistic parts of the film. There are a few things that I thought could have been done better in this film, as much as I really love it. I think that in this movie, there are so many great high points and so many great moments and story beats that are phenomenal. In between those, I do believe there are some spots where it kind of lulls. There are a few dull moments, nothing too crazy though, nothing that took me out. Another critique that I have of this film is that towards the end, when you're getting to the climax of the film, there's a moment that happens with Nick's family and Rachel in particular that at first, the first time I watched it, I was totally invested in, and I thought, okay, I get it. Yep, this is where the story's going. The second time I watched it, I did feel like it was like, okay, wait, this is a little rushed. You're telling me that all of this has happened, and then in that one moment, they have this one conversation, and it's, game over, or it's, there's a certain reaction that gets taken into place, and all, these other events end up happening because of that conversation. And so I thought to myself, that seemed a little bit rushed. Heading to the climax, that climax seemed a bit rushed. It's not that it was bad. It's just that, I noticed, I'm like, okay, they just did that to serve the story. And, okay, I get it. I'll take it. Other than that, guys, I don't really have any real strong negatives about this movie. I think that everything that they put in the movie served a purpose. Every character served a purpose. And I don't know, some of you might not agree with me, but it's definitely a movie that you guys need to check out. Like I said, I haven't seen a movie like this in a while that is this good, that sends out that kind of a message and has such a beautiful ending and such a beautiful story, such a beautiful scenery. Everything about this I really fell in love with. So it's one that I highly recommend. I think you guys should totally check it out. Give it a chance. I know it has a weird title. I don't know, some people are weird about Asian culture, but give it a chance. I think it's definitely worth it. So with that said, guys, I think that's it. That is the real breakdown for Crazy Rich Asians, a movie that I'm very, very happy with, and I might go see a few more times. So please go ahead, give this video a like, and go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more videos. I'll be doing some more stuff, guys. I got a few things in the works, and I'm pretty excited for you guys to see it. Guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video.